Another day for Reza Amiri on the road. The 34-year-old taxi driver is off to pick up a customer from her home in Halifax, continents away from his own Bamyan province, Afghanistan. The road has been home for Reza, as it has for millions of Afghans, the largest refugee caseload in the world. His customer, intrigued to have met an Afghan for the first time, tries to understand how he feels about Canada and his homeland.
I love it, actually.
Born in Turkey in 1980 to parents already on the run for a year from the Soviet army, 8-month-old Reza and family left for Syria. 2 years later, it was back on the road for them, on a winding journey spanning multiple countries and continents, fleeing the ripple effects of a conflict that has mutated over 3 decades into America's longest war. School was not an option. He became a carpet merchant instead, selling rugs made by Afghan refugees in Pakistan and Iran. Reza recaps how the September 11th attacks refocused the international community's will as they re-engaged in a region they had abandoned after the dismantling of the Soviet Union had rendered them victorious over their Cold War rival. The international community's intervention has brought some stability to Afghanistan.
Especially the females, the girls. I hope that. I always pray to one day
Reza's
find the peace
sentiment
in my
echoes
country.
that of his war-weary people and their concerns for that stability
Actually,
unraveling.
I hope one day we live in peaceful country like how we were before, a long time ago.
For a man who strongly identifies with his countrymen, whose dreams for peace have been quashed throughout his life, Reza's optimism is testimony to the resilience of a nation that dares hope despite a tumultuous history. He tells his next customers what brings him here.
We came like as an immigrant, and before almost 4 years ago. So we started everything from zero, and that was actually very challenging and hard.
Despite the fact that Canada, a major ally in the war against terror, had soldiers in there for more than a decade until this year, his customers admit their unfamiliarity with Afghanistan. But remember this.
Our understanding that our involvement was for the better.
But I appreciate all the family that they has been lost, brother, father, or son in Afghanistan. I appreciate.
Reza's sentiment echoes that of his war-weary nation's gratitude for the modest degree of stability achieved in the past 13 years in Afghanistan, and concerns for that stability unraveling. Whether or not a much smaller number of U.S. and allied soldiers stay in Afghanistan beyond 2014 remains in question due to decreasing appetites for military spending in Western capitals and an ongoing election crisis in Afghanistan. Reza is left with those thoughts, once more on the road, and wondering whether or not the road ahead will lead him and his family scattered across the globe to the homeland they long to see in peace at last. Marina Fazal, Halifax, Nova Scotia.